Welcome to Debbie's Divinely Healthy Kitchen, where the food tastes divine, but it's also heart healthy, so we honor God by taking care of the bodies that He's given to us. And today I'm making homemade bread from scratch, like they did 100 years ago out on the prairie, the pioneer ladies, just like the pioneer ladies. Very impressive to your family and friends. And even though it takes a long time, and it actually does take about 4.5 hours to do this, don't panic. Don't stop watching this video, because most of the time, the 4.5 hours is spent with you reading a book or, I don't know, taking a walk or whatever, because most of the time spent is just letting the dough rise. So don't freak out. Just know that you have to have a long span of time when you're at home at the weekend or whatever like that. Okay, so the key to making really fluffy, light bread or rolls, I'm going to actually make rolls today with the same recipe, is to not add too much flour. So what I'm doing here, I've already added to my recipe about 5 cups of flour. I'm going to add 1 more cup and just let you see the consistency of the dough. Again, the key to making really light rolls or light homemade bread from scratch with the yeast and the whole 9 yards is to not add too much flour. So I'm just going to make this workable enough that it's not sticking to my hands like crazy, but I'm not going to add any more flour than that. So I'm just kind of working around. You can see the interior there is still a little bit sticky, so I'm just kind of working it around this nice Tupperware bowl. And then we're going to turn it out onto the counter and we get to knead it. And I'm telling you, ladies, if you have never kneaded bread, there's something kind of therapeutic, because you just get to take out your frustrations once again. So there we go. I think I've worked in most of this flour, so I'm just going to turn it out onto the counter now and do the light kneading. So we'll put a little bit of flour on the counter, so it's not going to stick like crazy or anything. And just turn it down onto the counter. And we'll just knead it a little bit. And then what we do after this is we put it back in this bowl with a little bit of oil coating the bottom of the bowl. And we're going to let it rise for about 1.5 hours. And then we're just going to punch down that dough that has risen. It's probably going to about double in 1.5 hours in size. And then we're going to punch it down, let it raise for another 45 minutes. Punch it down again, turn it out onto the counter, and then you can either form it into 2 loaves, or my husband loves rolls. So I'm going to turn this into 16 very large rolls, a really good portion size. And in each one of these rolls, it'll only be 1 gram of saturated fat. Pretty good, huh? And 196 calories. But again, these are really large rolls. These are not any puny little rolls. So you'll be very satisfied with them. The person taking the video right now would be my husband, Raul. See what I'm doing here? Kneading the bread. Might need a little bit more flour so it's not sticking to my hands too much. But all you're doing is just pulling it in, pushing it away. Pulling it in, kind of folding it up and in, pushing it away, and just kneading the bread. And you just want to have it just enough flour so it's not sticking. At any rate, I was just saying that my husband, Raul, is taking the video. What do you think about these rolls on a scale of 1 to 10? Now be honest. What do you think?
They are a 9+.
You didn't say 10? I can't believe it.
There's always room for perfection.
Room for improvement. Okay, whatever. At any rate, I always get requests to make these rolls. And again, even though the total time might seem a little bit daunting, again, most of the time is just spent letting the dough raise. So it's pretty easy. I've worked out the dough. See how it's nice and smooth? Now I'm just going to put a little bit of canola oil in the bottom. Oops, that's a little bit much, but a little bit of canola oil in here so it doesn't stick. Just kind of spread that canola oil around. You get to get nice and grimy with this recipe, but it's kind of fun to just play with the dough, almost like Play-Doh, right? So now all we do is we toss this in here, and then I turn it one more time to flip it around like that. I'm going to cover it and let it rise for 1.5 hours. If you would like the complete recipe, which is very simple, you can get it for free at faithplace.org. Just click on the Healthy Living tab. And we'll join you next time in Debbie's Divinely Healthy Kitchen.